He was a big-time player with a big-time heart. Jerome Brown is remembered just as much for the person he was off the field as he was for his dominating play on it.
Besides being a great football player and a very dominating player, Jerome had a life about him of adding something to anybody that he came into contact with. He was always upbeat, always had a smile on his face, a little bit of a jokester at times, but he added something to our football team. He added life to our football team, and I think everybody's got great memories of Jerome.
Jerome hailed from Brooksville, Florida, where he did play sports other than football. He was part of Miami's fantastic recruiting class of 1983.
Well, Jerome Brown was reported to be one of the finest football players to come out of the state that year, and obviously coming from Brooksville, Florida, right up there by Gainesville, there wasn't a lot of thought that he would come to the University of Miami. But in the final analysis, he selected to come with us, and we were quite happy about that because not only was he a great football player, but I thought he had a lot of potential that he hadn't shown in high school. But he did develop and became one of the few players to play as a freshman.
Jerome, is from Brooksville, and it's not a big town, and you kind of saw when he got there, he was kind of in awe when he first got there. And we took it easy on him, just took him around and everything, but he was such a super nice guy, and we and I had a really good time, and he eventually became our roommates when he decided to came down there.
As a true freshman, Brown was in the starting lineup in Miami's 31-30 national championship victory over Nebraska. That set the stage for 3 dominating seasons to come.
The very first time I met Jerome, I was walking through the weight room, and just how explosive and how powerful he was as a young guy. I still think that probably of all the guys that I've coached, I think that Jerome probably had the greatest first step explosion of any of the defensive linemen that I've ever been around, and he had enormous power in the lower body. I mean, he could actually run through blocks and collapse the pocket and just make plays. He had a huge knack for coming up with big plays, and in particular in big ball games.
Aikman to throw again, and Jerome Brown's after him, and he's got it. He's a stud. That Brown, number 98, is 275, and Aikman is not up yet.
He did break Troy Aikman's leg, and probably was the greatest thing that ever happened to Troy because he transferred to UCLA and quit running the wishbone.
Played West Virginia, and somebody was just, I think one of their offensive linemen was saying how better he is, and Jerome can't play that well, and he's hurt. Seen Jerome get out there and just dominate their team. The first couple of plays, he got a couple of sacks.
Timko, look out. He is tackled and thrown for the big loss. Jerome Brown, the Outland Trophy candidate, with the sack.
Jerome was such a dominating football player that he could go out there and truly by himself, dominate an opponent's offense.
Brown was a consensus All-American his senior season and was a finalist for the Outland and Lombardi Awards. But away from football, there was another side to Jerome Brown people vividly remember.
Jerome was a free-spirited guy, would do anything. He was just one of those guys that wasn't scared of Coach Johnson, wasn't scared of anybody.
As serious as I am, at times, I would have to kind of try to tone him down just a little bit. Having Jerome with our football team was special because he kept everybody loose.
In 1987, Brown was a first-round draft choice of the Philadelphia Eagles, and in 4 seasons was named twice to the Pro Bowl.
I know that he was just a guy that truly was a huge leader for the Eagles while he was there. Guys on the football team admired him, respected him, and valued what a great contributor that he was.
In 1992, Brown's life came to a tragic end, but his spirit will live on in our hearts and in the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame. Tonight we welcome into the Hall of Fame the player who embodied the spirit of Hurricane football in the 1980s, Jerome Brown.